Today's video is designed as a little bit of an antidote to my last couple of Sézane videos, which some of you thought were very negative indeed. I do admit that I do still have many pieces from Sézane in my wardrobe, which I do love and cherish, and some pieces that I think are quite underrated, under the radar, that I don't see plastered all over social media. I will say, before you add any of the items on today's list to your cart, to your wish list, to your wardrobe, really consider whether there is truly a gap there, or whether you'd be better going into your wardrobe, shopping your stash, and reimagining the items you already own in new and different ways. That would be my top recommendation. However, if you are looking for a handful of items to consider adding to your wardrobe over the next few months, years, then these are some of the best items I think that you can purchase from Sézane. The most underrated piece of knitwear that I think there is on Sézane's website. It was difficult because I feel like a lot of Sézane's knitwear is so beloved by so many people, and there aren't actually that many underrated, under the radar pieces in the knitwear category. The first one being the brie jumper. The brie jumper I think is such a classic, it's such a good item, it's 100% cotton, but if you're put off by the leontine, which has quite a scratchy texture, I've spoken to a whole heap of you about this who have bought the leontine, maybe on my recommendation or on someone else's, and been a little bit disappointed by that quite stiff, quite scratchy texture. Personally, I quite like it, but I know not everyone is a fan. But I think if you're not a fan of that, you might want to consider the brie jumper instead, because it's still 100% cotton. It actually has a very similar design to the leontine. I guess it's almost like a Henley design, where you have the buttons up here, but they don't go all the way down. It has that cable knit to it as well. Currently, it just comes in a cream. There was a red. It is currently out of stock, although you could look secondhand for that. I do love the red one. I kind of wish it was still in stock. But either way, it's a really nice, slightly softer version of the leontine in still a very classic design. I don't think you can go too far wrong with this jumper. I think it's really beautiful, well made, fairly easy to care for. I do find the 100% cotton knits are the only knits from Sézane that I would dare to put in the washing machine. I would still put them on a very low temperature, on a very gentle cycle, but I do think that cotton can withstand a little bit of machine washing compared to their merino wool and their mohair knits, which I always hand wash. I also really like the Capucine cardigan. I think that one, I will say, comes up quite big, so if you are going to go for that one, size down, but that's also a really nice 100% cotton option. In fact, I will leave a list down below in the description of all of their cotton knits, all of the ones that I recommend. As I said, I don't think you can go too far wrong, but I do think the brie jumper doesn't get the attention it deserves. If I'm going to reel off some other knitwear favourites, I would say the leontine. I really don't think you can go too far wrong. I know not everyone loves the texture, so that's one thing I will say. If you're looking for a soft cotton knit, then the leontine is probably not for you, but if you don't mind that hempy, slightly stiffer fabric, I wear the leontine to death. It is my number one most worn, most loved piece from Sézane. If my house burnt down and my whole wardrobe was gone, the very first purchase I would make would be a leontine jumper. And finally, in the knitwear category, I want to give a quick shout out to the Mona jumper, which is actually a short sleeve jumper, so it's a slightly different option if you're looking for that. I really don't hear many people, if any, ever talking about this or wearing it. However, I've tried it on. I think it's really great. It's made in Italy. It's not even that expensive. It's a cotton wool blend. It's a classic stripe. I really don't think you can go too far wrong, and it's a little bit different being a short cap sleeve as well. Let's move from knitwear to tops now. So the number one underrated top that I thought of when I was scrolling the Sézane website, and I wanted to make sure these were pieces that are still available. So I'm sure there are pieces from past collections that I have or that used to be available that are really great, but I'm not going to talk about those because I want you to be able to purchase these items if you're looking for them. So the number one top that I think is really underrated, I haven't seen many people talk about, that I've tried on personally, is the Flamine blouse. I tried this on a few months ago and I really liked it. I think this is an excellent top. It's almost like a hybrid between a casual and dressy top. It can be either depending on how you style it. Now it's mostly cotton. I think it's got a 10% polyamide in there, but I'm pretty sure that is down to the lace, which often is, or is it lace? That design detail on it, which is almost always made of polyamide or polyester anyway, but it is the bulk cotton. It's a really lovely feel. I like that it's pretty and it's sheer and it's delicate and it's lacy, but it isn't too see-through. So in my experience with the white one, I didn't have to wear anything other than a nude bra under this, and it was absolutely fine. I also really appreciate the slightly cropped length. If you wear a lot of high-waisted trousers, skirts, jeans, then this is going to fall at a really nice place where you don't have to tuck it in, but you still get that high-waisted effect of your trousers. I think it's a great piece. I think it's really underrated. It's still available in all sizes, in both colours. It comes in a white and a navy. Another piece I do own that actually maybe should have gone in the knitwear category, but I'm mentioning it now, is the Ellie cardigan and the Susie top. This is a two-piece set. I think it's really beautiful, quite versatile, and quite underrated as well. I don't hear many people talking about this set. Comes in a few different colours. I have the black, but I love this stunning green they brought out recently. I think these matching cami cardigan sets can look really put together, but they're still really comfortable. They're really easy to wear. There's no effort involved in putting these on with a pair of trousers or jeans, but they still do have that ability to look quite dressy because it is a matching two-piece set that you don't see every day. I really love the scalloping detail around this. I really love the fit of this. I would say if you're going for the Ellie cardigan, you might want to size up. I got mine in a size large when I'm usually a medium, but the Susie top I would say could go true to size. And although I do wear them together quite regularly, I also wear them apart. I wear the Ellie cardigan loads, either done up or with different tank tops underneath. And equally, you can wear the Susie top on its own with a skirt in the summer, or layered with different cardigans as well. I think it's a really great matching set. I do quite like this lensing polyester mix that Sézane do in these stretchy, tighter fabrics. I know they're not for everyone, but I do like the fact that they aren't itchy. They are really comfortable. They're relatively low maintenance. You can, again, put these in the washing machine. So I do think they have their pros and cons, but generally I think for the price point, they are really good quality. The final underrated top I want to mention is the marionette shirt. This one is, again, a white cotton blouse, so quite similar to the flamine, but quite a different silhouette. It's very lacy, it's Victorian. This is, again, something that is Sézane's bread and butter, these blouses. But I just particularly like this one. It's 100% cotton. It's one of those slightly holey, intricate, feminine, lacy blouses, but it isn't too holey where you have to layer something underneath. One of my pet peeves is having these blouses that don't just work with a bra underneath. You have to put like a cami or a vest. I feel like that ruins the vibe a little bit. So I really like this one that has the detail, but it's not sheer enough or holey enough that you can see underneath it. And I think it's a nice one. I will say, if you're going to go for it, size down. I remember trying this on back in January and it coming up quite big. So definitely take one size down from your normal. Let's move on to Sézane bags. I feel like Sézane bags is a very contentious topic. Some people love them, some people hate them. I get lots of comments about them being not worth the price, about them being subpar quality. And I do think that's true to a certain extent. I do think you can get better quality options at smaller independent bag brands for a similar price point. However, I will say one of the things that Sézane does impeccably well, in my opinion, is the colour range. They bring out some of the most beautiful colours in their bags. They have a real wide range of different pastels, brighter colours, neutrals, and the shades they choose, I think they do really well. The burgundy that they offer, the blues, the greens, even some of the browns, this honey brown, so gorgeous. I will say, if you are looking for an alternative to Sézane bags, but you do want an extensive colour range, definitely check out Fleuron. I think Fleuron are the best when it comes to having loads of different colour options in their bag styles, some really beautiful colours, rich colours, pastel colours, brighter colours, and more neutrals as well. So if you want that, that's the best brand I've found for colourful bags when I compare it to Sézane, and it's a similar price point as well. And I've heard, I haven't tried them yet, but I've heard the quality is really nice. If you are set on a Sézane bag, then there are a couple that I think are good buys. I've talked about the ones that I don't think are worth the price, mainly the raffia ones, the Justine one in particular, but I will say that the Faro bag I think is excellent quality and is an excellent kind of starter mid-range bag for the price point. This is £205 in the UK. It's a fully leather bag. It's quite a decent size. It's a bucket style. It's a classic shape, very French girl shape. And it comes in at less than the Justine basket, which I think is crazy because that is raffia, it is straw, and it is £220 in the medium size, and the Faro is £205 in the medium size. It comes in a few different colorways. It also comes in croc designs, and it also comes in a smaller size as well, which I do think is a little bit too small to be practical, so I would definitely go for the medium size. but I did review this bag in a video from a few months ago, so if you would like a more in-depth review of the Faro bag, then I will leave it linked in the cards. But I think this is a really great option if you're just looking for an everyday classic leather bag. You don't want to spend too much, but you still want that kind of classic French style, then I would 100% recommend the Faro bag. Some other bags that I do think are good are their croc bags. So I think if you are worried about scratching, if you are worried about wear and tear, do avoid some of their smoother leather bags, especially the more expensive ones, because there's quite a jump in price between something like the Faro at £205 to something like the Claude or the Milo, which are in the £340, £360 mark. So if you want to spend a little bit more, but you're worried about wear and tear, definitely go for the croc versions. I have to say, I know some people have different opinions, but I still really love my croc Claude bag, and it is still in almost as good condition as it was almost a year ago when I bought it. I would say the only thing that does get a little bit of wear and tear is the clasp, because it is fairly big, it's right on the middle of the bag, and it is in this very shiny reflective metal. You do get scratches on it, but the actual leather itself, the bag itself, is still in really good nick. So I would say if you're going to spend a bit more, if you really want the shape of the Milo or the Claude, then go for something in the croc. Moving on to dresses now. Dresses is a little bit of a tricky one, because I do think that it is very subjective as to what your style is, your lifestyle, your preferences. Do you like midi maxi dresses? Do you like mini dresses? However, I kind of made a list of a few that I think are really nice quality, come in really good fabrics, and just look quite expensive. They are all quite expensive on Sézane, but I think some of them look quite cheap and look like they're not worth the money you pay, and some of them do look really well made and quite beautiful. So the first one I think that is really beautiful is the Caprice dress. This is a mini dress, but it's long sleeved. I think that's really elegant. Maybe it's not the most practical if you live in a really hot climate, but if you're looking for something that's slightly dressier, I think having a mini dress that is long sleeved is a really nice balance. If you have your legs out, having your arms covered is a little bit more elegant and is a little bit more expensive looking. It comes in about 4 different colours and patterns, and they're all, as far as I can tell, 100% natural fibres. Some of them are cotton, some of them are linen cotton blends, I believe, but either way they look really premium. Some of them have lovely embroidery. There's this patterned one, there's this white one, and I just think they're very elegant, and I think for the price point they're quite reasonable for what they are. If you compare it to something like this one, I can't remember what this is called, I know it begins with an S, I'll put it on screen. These are similar price points. I think this one is £20 cheaper than this one. I would say the Caprice dress looks infinitely more expensive, more luxurious, more elegant than this one. I think this one looks quite cheap. I think partly the shape, it being a strappy dress rather than having sleeves, and it being a viscose material as well. And also this pattern to me looks quite inexpensive. It looks like something that you would regularly see at H&M and other stores for £60 to £70 maybe. It's not like it's a horrible or ugly dress by any means. It just doesn't to me look like you spent £150 on it. Whereas for £20 more, I think this does look really expensive. Really premium, really chic. The other dress I'm a big fan of is the Adele dress. For similar reasons, it comes in lovely natural fabrics. It's more of a midi style, so if you're not into the mini style, this might be more suitable. There's a few different ones to choose from, but as far as I'm aware, they're all natural fibres, whether they're cotton or linen cotton blends. They're really classic, they're belted. I think they look beautifully made. I think most of them are lined as well. They just look premium compared to some of the cheaper looking dresses that are actually a similar price point. For example, this Dorothy dress, which is 100% polyester, I would avoid this at all costs. It's pretty, but it's a ridiculous price for being 100% polyester. And if you like this style, some of the other colours and patterns of this are at least viscose, and I think even some of them are silk. So I would go for that ones over the red. It's really gutting because I think the red dress is really stunning, but spending 100 and whatever it is for a polyester dress, I just don't think is worth it. I'm gonna skip trousers and jeans entirely because honestly, I don't really think any of their trousers and jeans are worth the money, at least if you have a figure like mine. I think if you have a simpler figure, an easier figure to dress on the bottom half, then you might really like some of their trousers and jeans, and you could go to other creators who might be able to show you examples of what they look like. But for me personally, I've never found a pair of trousers or jeans from Sézane that have been worth the money, with the exception of the Matthew trousers. I do think the Matthew trousers are really great. I don't necessarily think they're underrated because I've heard quite a lot of people rave about them, so not necessarily an underrated piece, but a really great piece if you're looking for a casual, again, a trouser trouser that can be really casual, can be an at-home lounge pant, can equally be dressed up. Other than that, I just skip out on trousers and jeans entirely. There are one pair of shorts I wanted to mention as an underrated piece, and that is the Daya shorts. These are a denim short. Now, I can't for the life of me figure out what the difference between these and the Rome shorts are. They are almost identical. They're identical in price, in composition, in look. They are a belted, high-waisted short. And surprisingly, even though I've said that the trousers and the jeans just don't work for me, the shorts seem to work for some reason, which is usually the other way around. Usually, I can find a brand that works for trousers and jeans, but I just can't get into any of their shorts. But for some reason with Sézane, their shorts seem to be more accommodating. I think it's because they have a little bit of give and a little bit of stretch. These Daya shorts, I don't think I have a clip, but I have tried them on previously and they actually fit really, really well. True to size, if you are curvier, they do come in at the waist, but there is enough room because they are flared in the leg slightly in the hip. There is enough room to accommodate bigger hips and bigger legs. And equally, the very, very similar Rome shorts I've tried on as well in the black. I might have a clip of that, so I'll insert it if I do. And those are really nice fitting as well. I got these in my regular size. I didn't have to size up. They do nip you in at the waist and there is still room for your hips and legs. So if you're looking for shorts, whether that's to wear with tights in the autumn winter or just a classic pair of denim shorts, I do think these are quite underrated. I had to talk about trench coats, one of my favourite topics. So obviously Sézane have two trench coat styles now, and I feel like the Scott has been a little bit neglected since the release of the Clyde, and I feel like everyone has the Clyde trench now. It is the one I see all over the Instagram girlies on TikTok and Instagram. But I do think if I was only going to buy one, if I could only purchase one, I'm very lucky to have both, but if I could only have one in my collection, it would 100% be the Scott. And I think the Scott is the underrated trench coat of Sézane. As I said, there's so much hype around the Clyde. So many people seem to have the Clyde. It's a newer release, but I do think the Scott is the better quality, better fitting trench coat. Unless you really like that oversized, more trendy feel of the Clyde, then 100% go for that. But if you're looking for a classic trench, a trench that fits well, isn't too oversized, but isn't too short and slim fitting either, is a nice quality cotton, then I would 100% recommend the Scott in either the camel or the khaki green like I have. I know it's not waterproof and I know people have that criticism of it, but if you can look past that, perhaps you don't live in a rainy climate or use an umbrella, I do think it's a really beautiful trench and it's one that's going to be in my collection forever. The piece that I think I haven't heard anyone speak about that I think is quite underrated, if you're looking for an accessory from Sézane, you don't want to spend a fortune, but you want something that will jazz up your existing outfits. Maybe you're going to an event and you're re-wearing a dress you've already worn, but you want to add some flair, something different. This hair accessory I think is beautiful, and it is, I appreciate, expensive. It's £40. However, I feel like this is something you're gonna get loads of compliments on if you wear it. It's something different. It's something you can't easily find elsewhere. It's beautiful and bold enough to be noticeable, but it's also quite neutral, so it's not too loud. It's not gonna clash with anything. You could wear this with anything, and if you want to do an updo, I think this would be the perfect finishing touch. This is definitely on my wish list of items I would love to buy from Sézane at some stage, because yeah, it's expensive for what it is, but in reality it's one of the cheapest things on their website, and I do think, as I said, it's something that a lot of people would notice. It would stand out compared to a lot of their jewellery and their other accessories that I think are overpriced for what they are. I can see this one actually being a real, yeah, a crowd pleaser, if you will. Those are all of my underrated items from Sézane. I'd love to know what you think. Do you agree with me on any of these? Do you own any of these and love them? Are there any other items that you think don't get the attention and love that they deserve? I would really be interested in hearing from you. If you have any items on your wish list that you're eyeing up, maybe you want feedback from others. I hope these videos can be a collective resource, not just my opinions, but all of you guys' recommendations and opinions in the comments down below as well can be really helpful to people who are trying to be more considerate with their purchases and minimize those regretful impulse buys. So do make sure to leave that in a comment down below, your recommendations, your under the radar finds from Sézane, ones that I haven't mentioned, I haven't discussed. I would love to know. I would love to perhaps try some new items from Sézane eventually when I'm looking to add something new to my wardrobe. Thank you so much for watching. It goes a long way if you can like this video. It helps my channel out more than you know, gets me in front of new people, and I can hopefully build on that and create even more valuable videos for you. I will also leave some videos on screen for you to watch next. I've done a few Sézane videos, I know slightly controversial videos recently. If you haven't seen those yet, you might want to go and watch those next. I hope you're all doing really well, having a lovely weekend, and I will see you all very soon next week for my next video. Bye!